Hey guys, I know you probably didn't expect a video this quickly because I'm not very good at getting them out that fast, but I was a little frustrated and I just wanted to do a quick vlog because I don't know, just really irritated. So, you know from my previous posts that I do have anxiety, I do have some depression issues ever since my uncle died. I mean, I went on and on, but that's the main thing that got me going with this channel. So, for the most part, depression, I can deal with it. I've gotten to the point where it's not really bothering me too much. I've been on medication for it before, and I haven't had a need for it in quite a while. My biggest concern now is my anxiety. So, I just wanted to kind of rant about, I guess, psychiatrists and therapists in general. I don't know, I've only had 2 psychiatrists that I've dealt with, you know, ones that can actually prescribe medication. And I don't know, my experience with them has just not been a positive one. I mean, for one thing, they're usually the most impersonal type of people that that you could possibly deal with. I mean, you're dealing with something like serious. I mean, it's anxiety, it's depression, you're dealing with something really personal. So having someone that's just very medical and just doesn't connect to you at all just doesn't work. So like my first psychiatrist that I saw like right after my uncle, like about a year after my uncle died, I went and saw a psychiatrist. The first thing that she did that just really upset me, well, for one thing, she was just, again, emotional, no emotional attachment, nothing. I mean, I know that I'm not using them for a therapist, like I'm not sitting there to talk, I don't want to, talk my feelings out with them, but I still want a little bit of a better bedside manner. I did not know at the time that you could use FMLA for things like depression, so I never approached it at work. I never brought it up with anybody. In fact, it was one of my coworkers that actually brought it up as being something I could do. So then I go to get the paperwork from the psychiatrist, and I mentioned that I didn't know that was something I could do. I was just telling her the situation, and she made me feel extremely stupid, and she basically talked down to me. She said, absence of knowledge is not an excuse. So she just made me feel really stupid because I didn't know that. It's like, when I think of things like FMLA, I think of, either a huge event, like a huge medical event, like, you're seriously sick. Like, you've got, I don't know, cancer, or you've got a major medical issue that you have to be hospitalized for, just something like that. Like, I guess it's because, growing up, things like depression and anxiety weren't as talked about. I mean, that wasn't something that people really dealt with. I mean, otherwise I probably would have seen someone a lot sooner, because I've had depression probably since junior high at least. I'm sure I've had depression for quite a while. More so when I moved to Massachusetts, because that was just a big hit to my, I don't know, self-esteem, confidence, and also just, it took me out of my comfort zone, and, I was far away from the people that I cared about, like my grandmother and my uncle, and at the time my dad and my stepmom, but yeah. So that was the experience I had with her, and honestly, her manner reminded me of, I don't know if any of you have ever seen Dexter, but later in the season, no spoiler alert, I'm not giving anything away, but there was basically a female psychiatrist who came up with, well, okay, possible spoiler alert for Dexter. Possible spoiler. So, there's a female doctor, female psychiatrist, who was the one who actually came up with how Dexter deals with his psychotic tendencies. And this doctor, she reminded me of that psychiatrist. She just completely, completely analytical, like, kind of looking at things from far away, not really looking at you as a person, just looking at it as, what kind of medication can I throw at this person? And I didn't like that. But yeah, so I saw her for a while. I'm not seeing her anymore, obviously. I've switched. But I guess it's really not much of a better change. So, fast forward, I stopped taking medication about a year ago. Maybe a little longer. I still needed it, but I couldn't handle that lady anymore. And I had a lot going on, but, about a month ago, I started seeing a new psychiatrist. I've only seen him twice. First time, it seemed like he was gonna take me somewhere, like he might actually be pretty good. He even noticed my distractibility, because I do have ADD. I don't have the hyperactive side of it, unless I have too much sugar and caffeine, in which case that can happen to anybody. But yeah, he noticed that. It seemed like he was, really in tune, and then, he prescribed me medication. But it turned out that it was one that was mainly for depression. I mean, I'd made it clear that anxiety was my biggest concern. I had a stressful job. I mean, I work at a call center. It's not exactly a fun place to work when you have anxiety. It's hard. Me and my housemate, I call her housemate, but we both do struggle with that when it comes to work. But yeah, so I found out that the medication he gave me was only for depression, and he had actually given it to that person as well, and that person has a lot of anxiety too. Like, he didn't do anything at all to address the anxiety. It was basically a free sample that he had probably gotten from one of those people that stop by to to try and sell these new type of medications by giving them samples. It was almost like he was experimenting on people that had a history of depression. So I didn't appreciate that. I mean, medication didn't do anything for my anxiety. It made me lethargic. There wasn't any depression for it to treat, because I'm not really sad right now. I mean, I go through my hopeless stages where, maybe I could do some sort of light medication for depression, but it's not my main concern. But anyway, so I also did the swab test, and it made it seem like it was really going to go somewhere. So I do the swab test because basically you can test out to see, like, based on your genes, what sort of medication is good for you. So I get there today, and I asked him about it at the end of our discussion, and he's like, oh, well, they might have it. You can ask for it at the desk. So they had it. They printed it out for me. It's like, what am I supposed to do with this? I'm going to cover my name up. It's basically it's like a map report thing. It's like, you just have me print it out, and what the hell am I supposed to do with this? It's like, you're not going to go through it with me. You're not going to explain any of it to me. I mean, it is pretty, for the most part, it is kind of simple, but it's like, this is a, it amazes me that you've done this test and that you're not even gonna discuss it with me. You're not going to have it printed out and ready to go. I mean, it was already ready to go. All he had to do was get it printed out and go over with me to make sure that the anti-anxiety stuff that we're putting me on and everything matches up to my genes. So that was just, yeah. It's like, what the hell am I supposed to do with that? I mean, I can't prescribe myself medication, so, yeah. And then, like, he didn't even remember any of that. I mean, I don't expect him to remember everything that we talked about, but he didn't really even seem to remember our conversation. I know that I gave them the medications that I'd been on before. I remember specifically telling them. So then he's asking me, like, what I was on before, and it's like, I'm not going to remember exact names right at this point, because it's been almost 2 years since I've been on medication. I want to say it was like Prozac and Wellbutrin, because Prozac made me feel kind of detached, and then the Wellbutrin kind of counteracted that. But then it made me lose hair, and that wasn't a good experience. And, like, we had a whole discussion about it. He didn't even seem to remember any of the conversation. So, yeah, it definitely made me feel like an important patient, like he actually cared. And then he keeps trying to focus on the ADD, which is fine. It's not really that big a concern. I've been dealing with it for years, so I don't know. Anyway, I just had to get that out, rant about it a little bit, and just let out my frustration. Now, I'm going to go eat my delicious McDonald's bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit. Super, super healthy. But hey, I have a bottle of water, because as you can hear, my voice is dying again, because still have no idea what's going on, no matter who I see. I'm trying not to take as much medication. I don't think I've gotten a rant about this, but I can't even buy the behind-the-counter, like the Claritin D or the Zydrate D, or not Zydrate. Zydrate comes in a little glass vial. Not that, Zyrtec. That's what I meant. Yeah, I promise I'm not on painkillers. You know, like Zydrate from Reaper the Genetic Opera. Anyway. I can't even buy those anymore because I've had to buy them so much over the past month or so, a couple of months. So I'm on their list because they use that stuff for, you know, making things like meth or whatever, methamphetamines and all that. So I have to have people buy it for me because I can't even buy it anymore. And it doesn't even seem to do anything. So anyway, I guess that's all I have for my rant. I'll probably be posting this today, and then hopefully I'll have a happier thing to upload within the next couple days. I've got my FabFitFun box, and then I never got around to uploading my Ipsy bag information. Plus I do have an Influencer box that I'm excited to show off. But anyway, thank you so much for listening to me rant, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. I'm going to go home and sleep because on top of everything, I had to get up like extra early because he's going to be out of the office for a few hours, so they had to reschedule me. So, fun. Alright, have a great day.